Hello, 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 beautiful people out there in Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube land. I am the captain of Worth.tv YouTube channel. My name is Nicci Gilbert Daniels, and thank y'all for joining me for this awesome deep dive into my P Valley claims, and I am excited to finally share this straight from the horse's mouth. Speaking of horses, I have my comrade here is my dog Kato. Kato is an awesome, incredibly loyal soul. He refuses to leave my side. It's a little late for Kato, so Kato is lying beside me, snoring. So you will hear him snoring throughout this broadcast. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. But welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank y'all for coming and hanging out. I'm going to go on to my Instagram and shout out my Instagram people. You guys, I'm going to do a very deep dive into this P Valley litigation. And I love my shirt. Hopefully you do too. It says, "Stop copying me. You're not even doing it right." I think this was I want to say this is a Fashion Nova moment. I'm not sure. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank y'all for joining me. And I'm definitely going to go into this P Valley situation in a way that I have never done it before. But let me get my, let me try to get my YouTube, I'm sorry, my Instagram folks up in here. That is what I'm going to try to do. So bear with me for a second. I hope you guys have been having a good week. I've been having a good week. Except today. Today. No, let me be careful about how I say things. Hold on. All right, let me get this together. We got to be careful about what we say because, God will teach you a very valuable lesson about complaining. Now you're friends. Now you can add hype to your story. I don't want to add hype to my story. Oh, hold on, guys. These folks, for whatever reason, I'm being denied the opportunity to go live here. Hold on. Bear with me for a second. Nope, we're not doing that. Okay. I think they're letting me go live. You guys, if you're watching me on YouTube, please do not forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to the video. I am going to be playing a lot of really clear examples of what I believe are copyright infringement. Hello, Instagram. Hi, IG. Hello, everybody. I hope y'all like my shirt. It says, "Stop copying me. You're not even doing it right." Thank y'all for joining me. What's up, IG? I am also on Worth.tv YouTube channel, guys. So don't forget to go on over to Worth.tv YouTube, where you will be able to see the videos that I'm playing. I'm doing a deep dive. Hello, hello, hello. I'm doing a deep dive into my P Valley case. You know what? Matter of fact, what I better do so we don't start having no problems. Hold on. Let me change this. Give me a second, you guys. I want to connect to Hardwire just to make sure we don't have any issues. You feel me? You feel me? You feel me? Hold on. Boom. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm broadcasting from all of my different platforms. Shout out to all my people on Twitter, my people on LinkedIn, my people on Instagram, my people on Facebook, and of course, my people on YouTube. We're trying to get these YouTube numbers up, people. So please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you share this video. I'm doing a deep dive into the substantial similarities between Soul Kittens Cabaret and P Valley. I'm actually going to try to make this a reasonably short video because this is only part one, but I think it's very important to share this information, not just for me, but for any other creative who might have to get into an intellectual property situation, battle, whatever the case may be. You can have evidence as clear as the evidence that I have and still be 3 years into the litigation, right? 3 years, $1 million later. Thank God we've worked something out with the attorneys where we're going to go all the way. But we are still recovering from a very turbulent journey through this process. So, IG people, I'm going to come back and share some of this content with y'all, but I'm going to focus all my energy on my YouTube folks. So, if you like, please log on to WIRF, Women in Reality Film TV, WIRF YouTube channel. Share it, check it out on YouTube. On YouTube, you'll be able to see everything. Okay. So, right now, go to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and watch the whole video. All right. I'll be back maybe after to chat with y'all and get your feedback. Now, I'm going to shift my focus to the people who are joining me: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. All right. Let me just let these people know where to come. Hopefully they will come and join us over here. Live now. And then that way I can focus on these receipts, as the people of color like to call them. Babe, would you take this for me so I don't have it? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Now I can focus on these receipts, baby, because we've got what? We've got receipts. First of all, let me say that if anybody out there is tired of me talking about this P Valley litigation, it is me and my husband and my family and my close circle and those of us who had hoped that this thing would be over many moons ago. But unfortunately, what we have learned, unfortunately, the difficult way, is that that is not always how it works. Even if you believe you have a very, very good case, a strong case, you still have to go through the judicial process. And what I've learned about this process is that, number one, it is not for the weak. It is not for the faint of heart. And it is not for those who are not prepared to risk damn near everything in order to actually see justice in the end. I thought, like probably many of you thought, that I could just, I don't know, come up with the evidence that I'm about to show y'all. And, a few months, maybe a year and a half later, I could be at trial in front of a jury presenting those facts and presenting that information. Now, I know that many of us would like for this thing to go the way that things went with this recent case that was settled in 24 hours. But unfortunately, that's not always how it works, especially when you're an African American woman. Okay. We can tell you that something is true, and unfortunately, you don't believe us until, it gets real gully and crazy, and people unfortunately see it then. And I think if more people believed Black women when we said, this is what is happening, this is what is happening to me, this is the issue that I am facing, right? I think that the community as a whole would be much farther along. I think we have really conditioned ourselves to believe that the people with the most money and the people with the most popularity and the people with the most power, perceived power, are the people that you should believe and support. And maybe it's because you think that it's going to be something on the other side of that for you. But I'm here to tell you, I've been in this business for a long time, and I've watched the most successful people in this industry fall victim of believing that this industry cares enough about people of color to treat us fairly or to give us real opportunities to thrive and build and create generational wealth and wellness. And I'm sad to say that I just, I have questions about whether or not that is true. I have questions about whether or not there are real opportunities for Black people to truly benefit from the things that we create. And the reason I feel that way is not because I'm being pessimistic or I'm uninformed. It's quite the opposite. It is because I believe in order for us to move forward as a community of people who are really known for creating great intellectual bodies of work, right? When you think about the highest population of Black millionaires, most of them are from sports and media and entertainment, right? The sad thing is there are so few because, in my opinion, we have been blocked from having those opportunities, right? Now, I know y'all see me in my automobile coming back from the gym, like the one live that was posted earlier today. Sorry, let me get situated. Like the one that was posted earlier today where I was ranting. And let me just say this, because I know, they're going to show the videos in court. They're going to send the videos to the judge, the whole 9 yards. It is what it is. But let me say this. I think it's important to have those real, authentic, transparent moments, right? Even though they seem to be kind of going on and on and on and rambling, and she always talking and she's always rambling. Unfortunately, I don't have Deadline.com, Hollywood Reporter, major outlets. You know what I'm saying? Bringing light to this landmark copyright infringement case, right? I have to use every opportunity that is presented to me from the platforms that I've built for myself and from those platforms that support authentic, real, Black content without feeling like they have to pander, to the people who actually own the platforms that they're on. But anyway, I want to thank people who have taken the time out to watch the evidence that I created 3 years ago. So when I say I'm in this for 3 years, yes, my actual claim was not filed 3 years ago, right? And I'm going to say this in a more calm, cool, and collected way so that people can understand it more clearly. Now, if you want the hood version, the Detroit Don't Play With Me version, look at the live before this one and you're going to get it raw and you're going to get it authentic. And I don't regret that. But let me try to break it down to you in a more easily digestible, less angry Black woman sort of way. Although I am very much the angry Black woman because this is holiday number 3. Going into 2024. And this video that I'm about to break down for you was created in 2020, right? So some of you already know this part of the story. And for those of you who don't know this part of the story, before I wanted to make this thing a big, ostentatious, loud, calling people out event, my attorneys attempted, our entire team attempted to have a very private, amicable conversation about what you're about to see. We were met with whatever it was we were met with, we here today. It was very, the way I felt like I was disregarded. I felt like I was not taken seriously. And what's crazy is what y'all are about to see. These people have seen this since 2020. These people were aware of these comparisons. These people, now we found out more information. And, I've had people come to me and say, hey, listen, oh, by the way, I forgot I got this email, all the connections and, that's all stuff that we'll hopefully have for trial, because as much as you want to throw everything in there, you can't. You got to focus your case on certain specific things. But I tried to resolve this issue with Katori Hall because I did not want the world to see 2 African American women at each other's throats this way. Babe, is the live up? You right? Okay. I didn't want the world to see 2 African American women at each other's throats, because I feel like we've seen that so much. And as much as people like to think that that is something that I advocate for, it is absolutely not. I want us to be shown in the most positive, uplifting light possible. So a couple times I tried as hard as I could to just resolve this amicably. So no one even had to know. There was not going to be a public nothing filed. There was not going to be a public video of these comparisons I'm about to show you. None of it. But it wasn't taken seriously. In fact, I felt like they laughed in my face. That is how I felt. I'm not saying that's literally what they did because I didn't communicate with them directly. I'm saying I felt, based on the response that I received, that they laughed in my face. The bottom line is that what I'm fighting for is not credit for creating P-Valley. What I'm fighting for is not a couple dollars to just shut up and go somewhere and live off the fat on the land. What I am hopeful is that by being this vocal and being this transparent and being this honest, which is exactly what I'm being, honest and truthful, that they realize that some of us take the opportunity to have ownership of the intellectual properties that we create very seriously. As I said again in my earlier kind of off the cusp kind of adrenaline filled rant earlier today, Tyler Perry is an example for me of what true and real success in this industry looks like. Tyler Perry has proven to the world that if you have ownership of the intellectual properties and the IPs that you create, that you can build something amazing for yourself and for your family and for other people. I'm not just some R&B singer with a chip on my shoulder who everybody on R&B Divas had a problem with. We're going to get into that too. I am a woman who was burned once by this industry in the brownstone situation. I was burned for a second time, big time in this industry after R&B Divas was basically the rug was pulled up from under me, and I created that show out of this brain, right? I reached out to all of those people. I've said it a million times. My husband and I put the sizzle reel together. We were very actively involved in this series. Myself, my partner Faith, who was the anchor in this, and that was a show that people just decided, boom, we're going to take this and run with it because it's a huge show and you don't know what you're doing and blah, 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 blah. And this time around, I decided I was not going to just let someone do what I felt was take one of the intellectual properties that I created to build generational wealth and wellness for my family who deserves that after 30 years in this industry, and just take it from me. I decided that I was going to quietly negotiate what was a reduced value of the intellectual property so that I could then go on and continue to build and grow, right? We've been working on this Worth Media TV app and platform since 2017, 2018. And we had to pause all of the good work that we've been trying to do in the community, all of the advocacy that we've been trying to do for Black women and girls in our community. We've had to pause all of that and hold off on all of that because we have been forced into an unfair battle, an unfair litigation with people who have admitted there's some similarities, but not enough for them to take it seriously enough for us to go to trial. And I'm just not somebody who's going to allow someone to piss on me and tell me that it's raining. So the truth is, I'm going to get into the video and I'm going to talk you guys through this. I'm not going to show you an hour. Actually, when I cut this down, it was like 20 minutes worth of video. But the video is very compelling because there just aren't that many comparisons in the world. Like, it's not possible that a show can start, have the same middle, the same amount of characters, the same type of characters, the same arc of characters, the same resolution of character. Like, every layer of this is the same. And I'm not suggesting that anybody, I'm not pointing the finger at any one person for being responsible for what I believe is infringement of my intellectual property. I don't know. What I'm trying to do is figure out how it occurred. Because I know there's situations where writers are brought into a room and, you know, people are like, hey, well, we would think about this kind of story, whatever. Like at Stars, I was reading with Tanya Sriracha from Vita. She said one of the executives called her in and gave her a couple of scripts and told her to read those scripts and flip those scripts and turn them into something else. And she went and she flipped those scripts and she turned them into something else. And she brought it back to the executive and the executive said, ta-da, you're the showrunner. So I know those kinds of transactions happen at Stars and Lionsgate because it happened with Tanya Sriracha. I don't know if it happened with Katori. I do know Katori said that when she went to the meeting with the head of the network, that they were swapping each other's story ideas, and what was a pitch meeting turned out to be a creative session. She said that in the ABFF interview, that she didn't think was still out there, but it is. It was public. The other thing is that what is most difficult for me to process about this is that I understand the power, the money, um, the influence that I'm up against. But what is shocking to me is the amount of cowards who I believe know a lot more than they have shared or are willing to share. And that has blown my mind. I understand it's not easy when you are standing up for yourself against a powerful opponent, right? But what is mind blowing to me is the number of people in this industry who are afraid to do it. The creatives are supposed to be. And I say that because when you look back on who we once were, when you look back on who we used to be, and I'm gonna get into this video. I'm just gonna stop saying this is gonna be a short live because every time I say it, it's 11,000 hours. But back in the day, when there were times in our community of entertainers where things in our community were amok, right? There were so many of them who were willing to stand up. Muhammad Ali, Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, Nina Simone, Bob Marley, so many, music was such a part of Dr. Martin Luther King's movement because artists cared about making sure that equality and fairness was a whole thing. Prince writing slave on the side of his face. Michael Jackson speaking up. Artists have consistently, were, as far as I can remember, were the ones that would speak up in the face of adversity. And what blows my mind is how many people want to be all up in the videos dancing with the vapors. Because that's all it is a vapor, as we can all see now, right? Clearly, more clearly, now that the house of cards is falling. And there's still people who are afraid to speak up as if your silence and you being complacent is going to actually buy you some additional respect from these people that you are afraid to say this is not okay. And here's the thing I want to say before I get into the video, because I know that there is a lot of venom and a lot of anger and a lot of coming out of me sometimes. And I got to let it out. I'd rather let it out than let it live here. What's not going to happen is I'm not going to be robbed of my ability to release the harsh realities of the situation that I've been forced into because I've made the decision to protect my family's generational wealth and wellness opportunities, because that's really what this is about. Not just my family, also my community, right? I'm a person who creates opportunities, job opportunities, employment opportunities for a lot of people. I've done that historically in my career, not understanding what structure I need to even create for myself, just wanting to share the platform and the creative process with other people. Excuse me. But now I have learned by this walk and this journey the importance of self-preservation. And as a part of self-preservation, I have to be honest and upfront and authentic about this journey, because a lot of creatives don't win these kinds of battles. When I have to dig into the research of what intellectual property litigations, what they end up looking like for plaintiffs, it gives me butterflies. It gives me anxiety. It makes my TMJ bad. My husband, who is a soldier, literally, figuratively, in every way, it has really been a difficult journey. We're not trying to pretend like this shit is easy at all. Like, we'd be like, we just could have took that $3 and just rolled out. But no. I got my mom. Look, this is my jewelry urn. This is my mama with me right here tonight. Because my mother was not a quitter. I have people that I love very dearly that are facing unimaginable health issues and obstacles. My husband and I were talking about it tonight. I haven't even really had the opportunity to properly mourn losing my mother or my father because I immediately went into the pandemic and into this litigation with Stars, Lionsgate, Katori Hall, and P Valley. I have never wanted this show to not go forward. I have never wanted, well, I do now. I do now. I do now. I do now. I wanted to just cease and stop and not go forward anymore until they do right by me and my family. That's another conversation. But I hadn't felt that way up until now. But to watch them win one award after another award, to watch them get acknowledged for a story that came from my heart and my head, that was a love letter to my hometown, that was truly about gentrification, underserved, disenfranchised people. I feel like it has been bastardized. I feel like there is so much more that this series could do and be. But I think that when you take the heart and the soul and the creator out of something, it's like a child without a parent. And as dramatic and crazy as that sounds, that is why season 1 was like, because that story was amazing. And then season 2 was kind of all over the place and you're trying to figure out what it was. And that is because it did not originally come from Katori Hall. Katori Hall wants everyone to believe that she just studied strippers. She wants people to believe that Cardi B was the influence. She wants people to believe that as a college student in Harvard and Columbia and Yale, she was going around visiting strip clubs, coming up with stories. Katori Hall wants people to believe that Uncle Clifford, who is the answer to Tata, which means auntie in French, auntie burlesque, is a culmination of her mother, who is straight, her father, who is straight, and I believe an uncle. Nico himself said in several interviews that the play is absolutely nothing like the TV show. These are Nico Anand, hometown Detroiter. Those are his words, and he's been involved in it since day one. You won't be able to see what Katori's perspective is on this litigation because she and the CEO that I left the script with, I left 2 copies because I was supposed to be meeting with 2 people. My lawyer had his assistant set up the appointment. My then publicist and manager and I went over to Lionsgate. We met with the CEO. We brought 2 copies because my lawyer told me 2 people were going to be there. The CEO said that the legal person, the other guy, could not be there, but he would gladly pass it on. And I left those materials. Not too long after that, Katori came in and pitched. All right. So I'm gonna roll these comparisons, you guys. And I just want to say, if you are in a situation where you got to make a decision to stand up for yourself and it feels scary, do it anyway. Because the future depends on it. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's go. So what you're about to see, you guys, is a side-by-side comparison. And I'm not going to show all of it, but I'm going to show y'all enough for you to get the point of Soul Kitten's Cabaret and P Valley. And this is for educational. What's the fair use? This is fair use only. This is for educational purposes. That is why I don't have the voices of the characters on P Valley, because they'll probably try to strike the video, but y'all will see it and it is what it is. All right, let's get this thing popping.
Is there anybody here?
Okay, so I just want to say, in Soul Kitten's Cabaret, the character arrives with a red vintage suitcase, and in P-Valley, the character arrives, as you can see, with a red vintage suitcase. Another interesting thing to note about the characters is that they are both fair-skinned, they're both slightly awkward, and a little shy.
Wow! Get your hands!
In P-Valley, the patron is thrown to the ground and he is called the F word, same as in Soul Kittens.
Brandy Whitaker.
In P-Valley, she introduces herself to the owner as Autumn.
Now
Autumn
get
Night.
out of that ridiculous dress and go and get yourself a costume.
He tells her, same as in Soul Kittens, to get out of that ridiculous dress and go over and get herself a costume. As you'll see,
I need to turn you into a young starling, baby. Come over here.
Okay.
same thing happens in Soul
just the
Kittens.
number for you.
This?
Oh, yes.
Check out the plastic hanger and the fact that the dressing rooms look almost identical. Now, keep in mind, Soul Kittens Cabaret was out many years prior
Can you
to
show me where your
P-Valley.
bathroom is?
Oh, Brandy. So you're modest and you want to be a burlesque dancer? Baby, burlesque rhymes with flesh, and you need to show more flesh if you're going to make any money in this business.
In P-Valley, the new girl changes in the bathroom. The veterans tease her for the fact that she wants to change in the bathroom, same as the character in Soul Kittens Cabaret.
Wow, I'm impressed. You, Miss Brandy, are going to do just fine.
You mean I'm hired?
Is there any reason I shouldn't?
No, sir, not at all. When do I start?
Well, there's no time like the present. Just follow the other girl's lead.
In both Soul Kittens Cabaret, they get hired on the spot, and in P-Valley, they get hired on the spot, and he says the same thing. In P-Valley, we notice that he dresses up like a man for a business meeting because he wants to, I guess, be more masculine.
Burlesque. All dressed up like a man for the occasion.
Same
Mr.
thing
Runner,
happens in Soul Kittens Cabaret.
Only my friends and associates call me Tata. You are to address me as Mr. Timothy McVow.
I see. You got on a little cheap suit, so today you think you a man. I just get a little confused sometimes because don't you dress up like a woman sometimes?
Tata dresses like a woman sometime, and guess who else does? Uncle Clifford, dressed up like a woman.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, ladies. That's what I'm talking about. And you know how I am about my leg lift. You can do a show without the cleavage, but it's the lift that make it burlesque. Exactly. And you know, I just may have to start firing some people around here.
And just like in Soul Kittens Cabaret, Uncle Clifford enters through beaded curtains, and he's making an announcement about firing employees that are notoriously late. If you look at the set, they pretty much look the same. The chairs are the same. It's a backstage relaxed vibe. The environment is pretty much the same.
The reason why I was late today is because I was working on the song. And,
I thought you said you had a test.
Shut up.
And this is obviously the girl who was late because she has a child and no one to look after them. Same as Soul
I need
Kittens.
this job for my son. You know that.
All right. And this is where the veteran performer lets it be known that she is the person that people come to see. She gets up on the stage. She does her rah, 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 same as the veteran performer does in P-Valley, gets up on the stage and lets it be known that she's the
You, an
person.
employee of the Soul Kittens, you put your hand on a customer?
This character is the guy who is the manager of the business, goatee, black hat, just like in Soul Kittens Cabaret.
Can you read the commandments? Yeah. Listen, man, every employee has to read, memorize, and sign off on the rules of this establishment. Come on, man. All right.
I will have to disobey 3 of the Soul Kitten commandments in order to lose this place. And trust, I run too tight a ship for that to ever happen. Ta-da.
All right, they're Soul Kittens rules, just like they're Uncle Clifford's rules. If you break these rules, you're in big trouble. Everybody knows from P-Valley, that was a big part of P-Valley, the rules, and the rules were originally in Soul
When they
Kittens.
see what I do with the money that I make here, they will have to accept me. They won't have a choice. Because I am going to create the Women's Crisis Center. Okay.
And of course, you see Mercedes decided what she was going to do with the money she made from working at there. She was going to open up her gym. She talks to the lady about opening up the gym. The lady tells her that dreams are expensive, and she says she saved up her money.
All I need is to get the money for my building. And then government grants are going to cover the rest. That's right.
And then, of course, the lady tells her that she needs to up the ante and she can charge a little bit more because dreams are expensive, is what she tells the dancer who wants to open the center.
You absolutely okay, my dream is much closer than you think. Listen, little girl, you don't have to quote the Bible scriptures to me, okay? My mother did that for 18 years of my life. It didn't keep her from tearing me down every chance she got.
And then you'll see in Soul Kids Cabaret, there's a mother who tears a dancer down every chance she gets, and she's quoting the Bible to her. So that also is a part of story. Even though it's a different dancer, it's still a part of the story. And the women are together doing a praise and worship moment.
What you ever want to think or believe, your father and I were in love. Very, very much in love.
And in this situation, in Soul Kids Cabaret, they were in a down-low relationship, which the son didn't want to admit. And of course, in Soul Kids Cabaret, Uncle Clifford and Little Murder are in a down-low relationship. Same thing, different types, but down
Michael,
low.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's cool. Actually, my grandmother used to call me Michael, so you can call me Michael.
All right, so two young lovers fall in love backstage talking about grandparents in both Soul Kids Cabaret, and this is the scene where he talks about his grandfather, and they fall in love backstage in P-Valley.
Look, I can get you up to $1 million. 90% of them ain't nothing but statistics anyway.
In Soul Kittens, they meet in a park with a reluctant inside man. And in P-Valley, Isaiah Washington's character, who has a goatee just like mine, meets in the park with an inside man to try to get information to take over the club in both shows. And you see Isaiah, very similar, begging the inside man to come on and give him the information. And he carries a flask, the same way my character carries a flask.
You trying to make a fool out of me?
No, I'm not.
You trying to take everything I work for?
No, I'm not.
And in this scene, let me pause. In this scene, what's happening is one of the characters' exes comes back in Soul Kittens Cabaret, grabs up one of the co-workers, holding her by the neck, threatening to hurt her, the same exact way that it happens in P-Valley. And she tells her former boyfriend to let her go.
You need to let that girl go.
So what's really interesting is two different characters are saying these lines, but the story, the fact that someone is being brought in, grabbed up, hemmed up, and the person is saying, let her go, let her go, let her go. And that person wants to know, is saying that this person is trying to take advantage of him. That's very, very similar.
I know what they want.
So what was happening there is a young girl who fell in love with a bartender starts feeling herself, and she's doing a performance, and she goes over to the owner and says, I'm a grown woman. I'm feeling myself. Going ahead and let me lead. That is the exact same thing that happens in P-Valley. The young girl who fell in love with the handsome young bouncer decides that she should be the opening act, or I'm sorry, the headliner, and she talks to the owner of the club about her becoming the headliner because she's feeling herself.
I mean, how am I supposed to grow up if I can't make my own decisions?
Oh, she feeling herself.
I'm a grown woman now, and life has never been better. Bianca, let's go.
All right, same situation here. I'm going to open up. This is what it's going to be. Now she's feeling herself.
Oh my God, well then it's going to really loosen you up. What are you doing?
In this scene, just like in the scene in P-Valley, the new girl's having too many drinks. The girl who works in the club at the bar is trying to tell her to slow down. Instead, she gets intoxicated in both shows. This is her saying to chill out. And of course, the same thing happens in Soul Kittens.
Do not serve her any more drinks. You understand what I'm saying?
And of course, in Soul Kitten, she has too many drinks, goes over and flirts with a customer, and then gets into an altercation with an employee the same exact way that it happens in both
That you're
shows.
fresh off the train from Disneyland. You might want to move over there before I kick your little ass, though, girl. You need to move.
So what's up, Sharita, huh? You want some of me?
Same thing happens here. She's pointing her face. She's saying, if you want to be an alcoholic, if that's what you want to do.
So fried that you can't even see yourself going ahead.
Sharita.
No, I'm gonna
Same
miss this
exchange.
place. I'm gonna miss you.
Okay, now let me say this. What's happening in this scene, I know it's moving a little fast. We're almost done. What's happening in this scene is they're all in sort of a 3/4 round circle because they all believe that the club is about to be shut down. So look at how they interact with one another. It is the same story in Soul Kitten's Cabaret as in P-Valley.
I am.
This is the semicircle where he's saying, I'm sorry, the club is about to close. I love each and every one of you. Same
It's
environment.
easier to watch them tear down this building than to watch Frank Jr. tear down you girls' lives. I love you girls.
And this is him talking about how much he loves them and that unfortunately you got to take an L sometimes.
I want to go. Ronnie,
Yes, baby.
congratulations on your Soul Kitten family life sentence. And last but not least,
And they both use the term, and last but not least, while they're going around saying their sort of goodbyes, for lack of a better word. So the nuances with him as a club owner, bringing everybody together.
I know why you want this place so bad, Frank Jr. I know about the casinos they're trying to build.
Now, that's probably the most important part of the whole thing. So you guys have been watching all of these little, nuances and story elements here and there. The biggest part of it is that the plot line in both P-Valley and Soul Kitten's Cabaret, after all those other things that are similar, they have a new girl who comes carrying a red suitcase. They have a new girl who comes carrying a red suitcase. The new girl is awkward and needs to change clothes, and he points her over same day to a counter where she changes clothes. That exchange is the same. The young girl who falls in love with a handsome young bartender, that story is all the same. There's so many similarities, but the overarching theme, the plot, is that the valuable land that both of the venues sit on just happen to be at risk of being snatched up by greedy developers for a casino. So you got a club in the city of Detroit, which is what Soul Kittens was, and real casinos came to Detroit. And then you have in P-Valley land that they want to build a casino on. Now keep in mind, I gave my script to the CEO of the company that produces this show. Here is Uncle Clifford finding out about the land in the casino in P-Valley.
And I know how much money this land is worth.
Now, we gotta.
So this is the
Yeah, you
antagonist
can leave me out of that, bro.
who is
that just
homophobic.
means one less salary I have to pay when I take this place over.
Mr. Rudder, you will not stand here and insult my employees or me any longer.
Okay. So in the scene in Soul Kitten's Cabaret, Mr. Rudder, who is the homophobic antagonist who wants to set Tata up to lose the club so that he could then take the club over and turn it into a casino, is the same character as Isaiah Washington's character, Mayor Ruffin. So in Soul Kittens, it's Frank Rudder, and in P-Valley, it's Mayor Ruffin. Same goatee, and in this meeting and in this exchange, they're having the same conversation. I'm going to take over your club. I'm going to force you to have to go into foreclosure. I'm going to own it. I'm going to put you out, and I'm going to turn it into a casino. This is the same exchange that he is having with Tata. Now, why he has to be a homophobic person, just like the character in Soul Kitten's Cabaret, you have to ask Katori Hall that question, or whoever she talked to at the company where she was swapping story ideas.
Now,
But
you can try every possible way that you can to try and take over my club, Franklin Jr.
same situation. He says, who do you think cares about what some freak?
Pay closer.
This is really important. Isaiah Washington leans in. If you see the close interaction of these two actors, Isaiah Washington is leaning in and he refers to the owner as a freak. Watch this in Soul Kittens.
To me, sweetheart, and I could teach you a few things about this life.
Let me tell you something. You can't teach me nothing. You can't teach me nothing, bitch.
Again, he, she, freak is what Isaiah Washington is saying here. Pay attention.
This little girl is preaching.
Yes,
Whether
indeed.
you want to hear it or
Okay, I missed that one, but keep it.
Come on. Come on.
All right. Women coming together, preaching, spirituality, religion. This is a little note. I want to say I do recall an interview where Katori said that somebody wanted her to have this whole conversation in the dressing room. And she said, no, we got to get out of the club. So she made the decision to go into a jail cell. But from what I understand, originally, this conversation and this come to Jesus moment that happens in Soul Kittens Cabaret and the come to Jesus moment that happens in the jail at P Valley were supposed to both be happening in the dressing room. I don't know why she made that decision, but that is pretty much the only thing that's different in this moment. It's women inspiring each other.
we all got problems. Everybody got something that's weighing on their heart and heavy on their back.
Wouldn't know it to look at me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't play that because I don't have the right to play it. But anyway, that basically, if you remember P Valley, you remember that's the scene where the mother is basically saying that she, same speech in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Let's move on.
Hey, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? It's Mike. What's your
Michael? What are you doing, robbing people now too?
I'm the same man that you held the door open for, and the same man that I thought you had a moment with. Maybe I was wrong.
The same guy who pulled out a gun the other day, waving it around, threatening to beat up and shoot people.
Oh, come on. You knew I did that. Come on. Who told you that? That was a lie.
Yeah, so you didn't have a gun the other day.
I had a gun the other day, but it was to protect you.
Protect me from what?
From Tyrone, right? You know that.
Okay, and in P Valley, these are the two young lovers, and what is happening? The bouncer is protecting her. She pulls a gun on him instead, and the love affair is over. They fall out because the bouncer, the bartender, is protecting her from someone, and instead she turns on him. In both stories, the young lovers' end of their relationship is the same. Another thing that's interesting that happens, this is scripted, you guys. This is not visual. But in Soul Kittens Cabaret, I also left the pilot script, which was called Curtains. I left 2 copies of the play, 2 copies of the DVD, 2 copies of the pilot script. In the pilot script, right, for the dramatic series, because this is based on a stage play, and from the looks of things, it's based more on Soul Kittens Cabaret than it is, according to Nico, Pussy Valley the play, but I digress. What happens is shots are heard out of nowhere in the pilot script Curtains of Soul Kittens Cabaret because we think that the owner has been hit, right? Now keep in mind they had this material as well. And what happens in P Valley is pretty much the same thing. Out of nowhere, a bullet whizzes by, startles them, and they think that the owner of the club has been hit. I'm sorry, I can't play that either. But the same thing happens in P Valley. And then another thing that happens in P Valley that is substantially similar is in the script, there was a moment where they thought that, go back to the main. In the script for Soul Kittens, there was a moment where they thought that Tata had been hit. So they set up a funeral. So in the script it is written, everybody comes dressed like they're attending a funeral. And what happens in P Valley? Oh, wow. Okay. I messed that up. Let me get back to where we were. Here we go. Everybody is dressed as if they're going into a funeral. And the same exact thing happens in P Valley. The scene where they're all marching up the stairs, you thinking that they're going to a funeral, when in fact they're not going to a funeral. they're going to have the auction for the club. So same concept. Soul Kittens, they thought it was a funeral. It wasn't. It was the auction. You find out here. That's what it was. Watch
Just
this.
the man I've been looking for.
Okay. So I want y'all saw how Frank Rudder walked into the situation where they were all sitting there. Isaiah Washington, who's my homie, comes in with the same fedora and walks through the same way in P-Valley that they walked through in Soul Kittens.
All you have to do is sign the contract from a lawyer, all right? Just sign on the dotted line.
All right? He's leaning in, taunting them
I
because
don't
he
think
knows
so,
they're
Mr.
losing
Rudder. I
the
have my
club.
lawyer to draw the documents.
Same thing
and all you
happens
have to do
here.
is sign
Hold on,
them.
you guys. Let me pause that because I think I'm in the way of you being able to see what is actually happening here. Let me unlock it so I can move it. All right. So I just want y'all to notice something very important for y'all to notice. You see the hat that my character, Frank Rudder, is wearing as he leans in to taunt the owner of the club because he's about to take his club. Let's not be fooled. Same hat, leaning in to taunt the characters because he's what? Taking over the club. Same exact ending, guys. Just a different suit, a different character, a couple different things here and there. But the taunting and the coming in and the walking through and making a big entrance in the fedora, same guy.
Everything you want, so please just sign the damn documents so I can get them back to my lawyer.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing what I was hired to do.
All right, same thing happens here. Dancer nobody likes just shows up out of nowhere. What does she have up her sleeve? What is she doing? That's what everybody is asking in P-Valley, and that's the same thing they're asking in Soul Kittens.
You know, your $2 hoe just went up to $2 million.
What happens is she comes in with a plan. Dancer nobody liked. Very clear that there's an exchange happening here in both shows.
Frank, honey, you're the idiot. Bianca has been one of my therapy clients for years.
Phone call happens. We discover what is happening. The plan to do the casino is foiled.
Bianca, darling, is everything signed, sealed, and delivered?
She comes in, drops the money on the floor. What happens? She now has ownership of the venue. Same as Soul Kittens Cabaret. Now keep in mind, P-Valley had a $100 million budget. So a nuance here and a nuance there is what it is. But that ending, same story.
Okay,
Excellent. Congratulations, Ronnie. You have your sister love sentence.
What? You got the bill. You got the
Okay. I can't play that because there's some P-Valley audio in there. However, same thing happens at P-Valley. If you guys remember the end of P-Valley season 1, even though it is a different dancer, a dancer ends up getting the building in the end and becomes partners with the owners. And another interesting point is that the wife on the phone call, we find out that there's some cheating going on in Soul Kittens Cabaret, and there's also some cheating going on in P-Valley. Here are a couple other small comparisons. I got about another 2 minutes of them, and then I will wrap this thing up. But felt like it was important for everybody to be clear. Hold on. This is a very interesting one. Hold on, let's get here. Okay, here we go. Thank you. All right. So in P-Valley, a character appears wearing a white gown as a spirit, and in Soul Kittens Cabaret, that's my sister appearing wearing a white gown as a spirit. I mean, how much more ironic do you need to be? Bottom line is a spirit coming into the club in a white gown. That was in season 2, but it's all the same. Hot pink neon sign. And of course, in P-Valley, we got a hot pink neon sign. That's maybe normal, but there it is. Check this out. You guys look at the stairs, the routine, the way that they play the stairs. Same situation here. as in, let me reduce this so you guys can see it. The LED lights on the stairs, the colors of the venue, it is all so clear. It's clear enough that it deserves to go to trial. There's enough information in here. Look at that. The way you can't tell me that these two shows about strip clubs and performers don't have enough similarities. Shirtless male performance in a male-oriented club. I'm sorry. Shirtless male performance. All right. So this is the last thing I want to share with you guys, which is probably the most important, which and I don't have any more videos to I'm sorry, video comparisons to share, but I do want to share this synopsis, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. So the synopsis for Soul Kittens Cabaret, keep in mind, the company that put P-Valley out, that gave Katori Hall $100 million to produce it, had access to this as well, right? So the synopsis for Soul Kittens is: at the heart of Detroit was one of the hottest spots in town, known for revving things up in the Motor City, Soul Kittens Cabaret. 5 women fueled it all. Detroit was synonymous with Soul Kittens, and Soul Kittens Cabaret was the hottest ticket in town. People would fly from everywhere to catch the kittens in action. Forging fantasy with fanfare was their game, and they played it oh too well. But in the midst of the Soul Kittens presenting to the masses all of the glamour, glitz, and glad times they were going through their own individual struggles. Follow them as they take you on a journey into their life in Soul Kittens Cabaret, as they discover, amidst the pains, pleasures, and false promises, what fame really has to offer. From catfights to conspiracy and sisterly bonding to backstabbing and dancing and dealing drugs. The Soul Kittens saw it all, and the Soul Kittens Cabaret was at the heart of it all. It's a look into their world as they discover the real meaning of friends, family, and what you ultimately have to do to forsake them. That's the Soul Kittens synopsis. Here's the P-Valley synopsis. Set in the infamous Mississippi shake joint called the Pink Pony, Pussy Valley is an intimate window into the unexplored Southern strip club world where the desires of pro ballers, politicians collide with the dreams of 5, same amount of women, brave women. For these women, the line between performance and reality becomes blurred as the drama of their outside lives, same as Soul Kittens, threatens their onstage personas. One on the quest for money, power, and respect, each woman must make a choice. For some, it's a step down. For others, it's a step up as the Pink Pony is constantly shifts between a platform of freedom and a gilded cage. In this world of smoke and mirrors, who will fail and who will fly? Now, just the last few lines and what you ultimately have to do to forsake. Just the last 2 lines of these synopsis. Let me go back to full screen, guys. Just the last 2 lines of the synopsis should tell you that these 2 things are very, very, very similar stories. The fact that I went and I left my script and all of my materials with Stars and with Lionsgate, and the CEO and Lionsgate own Stars, it is all enough for us to be able to go to trial. I'm so disappointed that they just keep filing motions to prevent this from happening. And while filing all of these motions to prevent it from happening, my family has suffered tremendous, tremendous financial losses. We've lost people that we love and care about, all because these people, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. I mean, you guys saw the comparisons. You see how clear and obvious that it is. And I'm not saying that it's a clean cut, like cut and dry, open and shut situation. I'm saying that as creatives, you shouldn't have to lose everything, especially when you have evidence as clear as the evidence that we have, that we at least deserve to go and present these facts before a jury. It's impossible to win against, well, it's not impossible because anything is possible with our God. We truly believe that. But in the real world, it is very difficult for the average person to take on a multi-billion-dollar company. And I truly believe that that is what these people have been hoping for. The fact that we will not have the financial resources to fight them. It has been very hard. I'm not somebody who's going to hold you up and pretend like this has been easy. I'm not walking around with a Wonder Woman vest on talking about, hey, I got this with gold bracelets. It has been pure hell. It has been mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and in every other way the most draining, disappointing process of my career, hands down. And it is because I know that this battle is really just beginning. But I wanted to share this video. And those are not all of the comparisons. There are many more at wirfmedia.com. But I wanted to share this video because there's so many people out here who just believe that I'm just making this up. I understand when you look at Soul Kittens Cabaret, the play, you might think, oh, that's cheap bootleg, Chitlin Circuit play. Yeah, it may be all those things. But the story of the venue in the inner city that is owned by a member, non-binary, which is a word now, non-binary member of a community. The story of 5 women, and both shows got 5 women. The story of this venue, this beloved venue, being on valuable land for a casino. There were moments that they didn't even bother to change. You guys, they had $100 million invested per the CEO of Stars, saying this in a video. And they still came up with a story that had the same beginning, the same middle, and the same end. The nuances of the girl changing in the bathroom, the nuances of the stripper nobody liked saving the day for the club, the fact that the person who was trying to take the club was a homophobic, angry person named Ruffin. My character is Rudder. The fact that the character who's the lead character was in a was in a down low relationship. It doesn't matter that my character's character was white and this character's character was a hip hop rapper. The fact that he was in a down low relationship with someone. The fact that both characters inherited the club from a loved one who performed and was at the club in the past. It's all something that is worth unpacking with a jury. And unfortunately, because I'm a Black woman, this case has just been dragged on for 3 years. Now, I'm going to try to ease up off of talking about it because I feel like I've given you guys enough information. I've shown you enough of, the comparisons. I've got out here, on my soapbox and advocated for myself enough for the people who really care about truth and justice to know what's really going on. So I'm going to try to step away from it and really get myself into music and being creative. But it is heartbreaking to have invested 30 years of my life into this industry and to have done nothing but try to inspire people and motivate people and create opportunities for people to thrive and to grow and to have something that was worth $100 million investment from one of the biggest companies on the planet infringed upon, in my opinion. That's how I feel. And to not be able to get to trial after 3 years because they just keep, with all this money, just sliding paperwork through. Please. And like I said earlier, I have tried to settle. I have tried to but you cannot come to me with a work for hire mentality. You have to come with me the same way I came to you. I came to you pitching ownership. I came to you saying that I have the same people who invested in Tyler Perry, who promoted Tyler Perry's shows and invested in Tyler Perry. Those same people are prepared to invest in Soul Kittens Cabaret and make this a dramatic series. Soul Kittens was a dramatic series. It was venues in Vegas. It was a live show. It was a touring musical. From day one, from jump, this was a brand that had a lot of layers. And now it is a show that has been in litigation with a company worth billions and billions of dollars because they simply do not want to acknowledge what is so obvious, which is that these are the same stories. And I have to say this to you, Katori. The fact that you have not made a statement. I mean, it's people who have some really serious allegations against them, whose lawyers probably done told them, you really shouldn't be saying nothing. Don't issue no statements. Don't say nothing. If you are a Pulitzer Prize winning author, if you are a person who calls yourself somebody who rides and stands with Black people, if you are an advocate for creatives getting their just due, if you're standing with WGA and standing with the actors and SAG, isn't there some part of you that looks at these comparisons and says, you know what? How are these things so similar? You know what? I was swapping story ideas. What, like, isn't there, I'm not suggesting anything, right? But isn't there some part of you that really wants to know how these things could be so similar? That's all I'm trying to do, is figure out how it's possible that coincidentally we shared creative story with the same people. And one of us ended up with the short end of the stick. And ironically, it's the one who copyrighted her script in 2004, which was 13 years prior to you, and the one who went in and pitched ownership and partnership to the company that probably hired you. Why? Because maybe it's easier to hire someone than it is to partner with someone. Perhaps. I don't know. But I wanted you guys to see the comparisons. I want you guys to know that this is why I'm fighting. I want my grandkids to know that this is why I'm fighting. I want every member of my family who has been deprived of the opportunities for generational wealth and wellness because of this horrible situation we're in to know that this is just not a futile fight. So keep praying for us. I don't know when we'll have a chance to go to court. I don't know when we'll have a chance to go before a jury. I don't know if we will, but this is the truth. This is the truth. So thank y'all for hanging out. How long I've been on this live? An hour. Okay, that's long enough. All right, guys, this is just part 1. Part 2, which I'm not sure when I'll do it, is going to actually unpack. And let me just say this real quick. Let me read this really, really fast. This is so for people who want to say, oh, well, all clubs have this and all clubs have that. So our expert who has been in this industry, not our expert, the expert that we hired, because that's what you have to do. You have to hire an expert. He does not work for me. This expert actually, I've never met a day in my life, but the expert said that when asked about comparable productions, he said, I have reviewed a number of films in the same genre to help determine what tropes are seen on Frere, because that's what they're trying to say. Lionsgate and Stars is just trying to say, oh, these are seen on Frere, which means that it's not protectable. They could be similar, but not protectable ideas. But what's interesting is what you guys just watched, the beginning, the middle, the end, that is selection and arrangement. So that means that they selected what seen on Frere or things that are just commonalities, and they put them in the same order in both Soul Kins Cabaret and P-Valley. They are pretty much the same beginning, middle, and end. But he said, I reviewed a number of other films in the same genre to help determine tropes are seen on Frere are common. I chose Players Club because it is the first in the genre with African-American cast and setting. Live New Girls because it was produced in 2014. A point between the two productions at issue and set in a strip club on the outs with an owner who inherited the strip club and focuses on the lives of the performers in crisis. Okay, he said something about Dancing at the Blue Iguana. Anyway, all of these different titles he mentioned, he said, those films share many similarities. Women often naked perform what they consider artistic erotic dances while also performing specific sex acts for money. They are usually in an ingenue and a queen bee. Financial crises of the club are usually catalysts for the story. So those are the things that he was saying are similar. More importantly, the following elements do not exist in any of the other films. None of them are managers, owners, LGBTQ. None are driven by a casino needing to acquire the property. None have hostage situations where guns are pulled. None have a hostage confrontation. None discuss sets of club rules laid down by the owners. Neither have muscled men dancing shirtless on stage. No one is trying to benefit their communities with health centers or youth facilities. Neither of them have women directors, let alone Black women directors. These are all specific elements that are shared by Soul Kins Cabaret and P-Valley, which the MSJ claims are simply elements common to all films in the genre. So in summary, what he says in conclusion, this is the copyright expert who has 35 plus years of experience comparing things. He worked with the Puzo, the Godfather people, right? They're trying to throw out his report because it doesn't say, I guess, what they want it to say. But he says in conclusion, under the Copyright Act of 1976, a derivative work is a work based upon one or more pre-existing works, such as a dramatization, fictionalization, motion picture version, or any other form in which the work may be recast, transformed, or adapted. In my opinion, this is the expert. The Star Series P Valley is a derivative work because it contains elements clearly protected by copyright taken directly from Miss Gilbert Daniels' play, film, Soul Kittens Cabaret. Based on interviews with Miss Gilbert Daniels that I've seen online, it is clear that she is well versed in COT issues, chain of title, promoting, as I do, creators having a firm understanding of how intellectual property is created, owned, and licensed. Though Miss Gilbert Daniels wisely took the extra precaution of registering her work with the Copyright Office as well as WGA, her original work of authorship, The Soul Kittens Cabaret, was protected by copyright as soon as it was fixed in a medium, written in this case, later performed in film. It cannot be disputed that Miss Gilbert Daniels is the owner of the work in SKC and that her written consent was necessary to produce any work derived from the play or the film, including P Valley. It is therefore my strong opinion that the similarities between the play SKC and series P Valley are clear, and the matter should be allowed to progress through the normal legal process for these situations, namely presentation of the triable facts to a jury for determination. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America. This is what Rob Aft, who is a copyright and COT expert, said about the comparison video. So I'm going to let you guys marinate on that. It's 1:11. I love you, Maxie. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. I thank you guys for paying attention and watching, and I hope that we are allowed to go forward to trial. But if not, this is if not, I mean, well, we ain't gonna even claim if not, because they got all sorts of appeals and all kinds of things. But what's more important than anything is just knowing that I have an opportunity to share the truth and my perspective. And I appreciate you guys for that. Please go to wirfmedia.com to see more copies of the reports and all of the paperwork. And for those of you who are claiming that you don't talk about my case, for all you lawyers and on YouTube and all you people who don't want to talk about it, we got the documents on wirfmedia.com. You don't even have to pay the PACER fees because we've already paid for the fees, and you can look at that. Well, I don't know if I should be saying that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Don't use the excuse that you haven't seen it, because we know we've heard that. And you may not ever be able to see what Katori or the CEO of Lionsgate said about this, because they have filed everything under seal. And by filing it under seal, it basically means that they don't want people to see what they said under oath. However, if you follow the trial once it happens, which will probably be next year if it does, when it does, that's what we claiming, that is when you'll see it. But outside of that, Katori didn't want y'all to know what she said. And all I got to say is I want y'all to know exactly what I said. All right, so peace, love, and soul. Thank you guys. Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe to this video. Worth TV and Worth Media is coming with some really great stuff. I got a big announcement coming for you guys really, really, really soon. Thank y'all for watching the Soul Cipher. Watch these old videos and tell me what your thoughts are. Okay. Mwah. Have a beautiful, wonderful, and amazing night. Nights with Nicci. Peace.